Path of Night is an actual play Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent, both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, and we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now, let's walk the path of night.
Last time on Path of Night. The Coterie reunited with Wynn at Roman Pendragon's haven, escorted by Justicar Lucinda and her Archons. Battered, the Coterie attempts to pull together. Miles sought out his sire, Jan Peterson, and Britta was called to Roman Pendragon. As dawn finally draws near, the various members of the Coterie are brought to rooms where they would be resting for the day. Miles, Wynn, the two of you are escorted to the room that you'll be staying in during the daylight hours. When you get in, it is a gorgeous, lavish space, and it is complete with its own balcony space, bathroom, sitting area. And there is one bed, massive, but one bed, that awaits the two of you.
Wynn walks in, picks a side of the bed, takes her boots off. She may actually still just be carrying them from coming inside, from where she was sitting with Neil. She sets the boots down, goes in the bathroom. She doesn't bother closing the door. The sound of the tub running starts, but it doesn't last long. It seems like she's just rinsing her feet off. She comes out walking awkwardly on a towel to keep from getting the floor wet.
Miles has entered the room, saw that she's claimed one side, kind of shrugs, puts his sword on the other side, basically the bureau or whatever. Yeah, I couldn't find my sire at all. We didn't have a lot of time. So I'm so glad that everything here is so accommodating.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, I should have my own bed.
Why?
Because I'm a guest. It's just how it works.
I mean, I'm glad I've got a bed, but I don't know, I've kind of gotten used to having a bed since you gave me one.
Right. I mean, you guys all had spaces to sleep in previously. He's got like 1 million rooms here. You're telling me that this couldn't have happened?
Maybe they wanted to give you and me a minute to talk.
It still feels like Pendragon.
It's probably petty bullshit, but I'm gonna find the silver lining while I can, man.
Fair enough. So that was quite a meeting we went through.
Yeah. Wynn kind of like sits on the edge of the bed, head in her hands for a minute while thoughts come into being and try to form into words. After a minute, she just kind of pats the bed on his side so that he'll come and at least sit.
I guess. They have chairs here. We don't have to sit on the same bed.
Do you just want me to shower or something? Do you want me to sleep in the bathtub?
No, it's just very difficult to have a conversation with the person sitting next to you instead of in front of you.
Well, then if you want a chair, bring a chair up. I want to sit on this bed.
Excellent. Miles will drag a chair over.
Makes an awkward, loud dragging noise.
He sits down in the chair, pulls out his glasses case, and starts cleaning his glasses. Have you ever been fully blood bonded?
No.
It's an experience.
I'm sure. Not one I want or relish having to do.
I very rarely think people want it. I mean, there are cases, but it's not a thing you generally want.
It's slavery. Let's call it what it is.
Sure. It's not permanent.
3?
Doesn't have to be.
So, here's the thing, Miles. I know you're trying to come up with a clever way out of this. And I'm going to need to ask you to stop.
Unlikely.
I know, but hear me out. You have done a lot in the name of keeping us safe, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that got me taken away from you. And if you're found fucking around with that, it's not you they're gonna hurt directly. It's gonna be Neil or Britta, and they're gonna do that so that you and I have to watch and know that our actions caused this. So here's what I'm gonna ask you to do. Let's you and I be protectors, and you let me go. I don't want this. I want a way out. And on a long enough timeline, I will find a way out. But if you want to keep the rest of them safe, you need to make the choice to let me go. Clearly, it's not one I'm going to make for you.
I understand. Part of it is all of these plans and strategies that they've been planning for ages are coming to a head because they don't want to admit that something is happening. I don't know what that something is. Neil has a few guesses. We've been there. Giant ominous red star in the sky gives me a bit of a pause. But we're not the only ones, and that's something is going to change. And that is what they're afraid of.
And do you think screwing up their plans is going to make them less afraid and more likely to cooperate?
I'm not even involved in their plans as far as I can tell.
Oh, you are a very integral part of their plans, it would seem, Miles. They don't take you to the woodshed like they did if you're not playing a bigger part than you realize.
I mean, that... They need me because I've made myself integral to New Haven.
When he says they need me, there is kind of a twitch in Wynn's face.
And after that, no idea. Probably banking on the fact that I'll get myself killed, since an entire Sabbat siege is coming for me.
Wynn kind of grabs fistfuls of her hair, head down between her forearms.
All right. Did you and Lucinda have a conversation in that car ride?
Wynn doesn't move.
Right. He puts his glasses back on his face. He looks over at her.
When he starts to move, she'll kind of like poke her head up and just look up with her eyes at him.
So, as far as I can tell, the blood bond from one side can't really tell if the other person is actually bonded to them besides some behavioral changes.
Okay.
Lucinda implied a lot of things, but she didn't outright say them. You can choose, based on what I can see on timing right now, to pick a different horse.
This goes back to that, if we pee in their Wheaties, we're not the ones who are going to be punished the most harshly.
I pretty much very rarely don't try to do stuff.
I know.
This does get me in trouble, but it also makes us who we are. And they're going to be busy pretty soon.
And then they won't be.
Well, that's a lot of time and a lot more things and events for us to have seen our way through. Again, if they want to come for me, they can. And they will.
Wynn gets up and goes into the bathroom and shuts the door.
I love these abrupt changes in conversation.
Read the room, buddy.
All right. I already have. I need you to come out here if you want me to try to do something about it.
In the bathroom, Wynn runs water, puts her hands under it, feeling the tension of the line she's walking with how much she has already told Miles and how much she can get away with saying again. She doesn't even know if she can even say that she's sorry or if that will be saying too much. Mostly she's thinking. She knows what she wants. She wants out of this.
Miles will be in the other room. He will stand up. He will turn the chair to face the door. He will take off his overcoat, loosen his tie, and kind of stretch his neck a bit.
Amidst the silence of this, the door unlocks and creaks open as someone makes their way inside.
I will turn to face our guest.
You see your sire. He is not wearing a suit. He's dressed in jeans, hiking boots. He's got this Yale hoodie pulled up over his head so that a lot of his features are kind of difficult to make out. You almost don't recognize him at all because of the sight of him out of a suit. Tucked under his arm is a file, all kept in a manila folder.
What can I help you with?
He looks around, he lowers lights. Miles, I need to speak with you, and I don't have very much time.
All right. I get closer so he can talk quieter.
We have been lied to.
By who?
He looks ashamed. My sire spun a lie that has consumed the world. For centuries, I have protected the masquerade and defended the Camarilla's interests to the best of my ability, stretched thinner and thinner as more and more of these problems sprang up from every corner of the planet. I have been flying back and forth between the east and west coasts, warring with the Wanque and the Sabat on the east coast. But there are pieces that are coming together now. You heard what happened in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Wynn will crack the door.
Jan Peterson grows quiet and guarded when he realizes that Miles wasn't given his own room.
I look at him and I look at him, Pendragon.
Right. Anyway, one of the files that we have is on the Zantosa family. Before they were called by that name, they smuggled the corpse of something across the Atlantic Ocean.
I'm nodding at him like I already know this stuff.
To New Haven.
Wynn will open the bathroom door and stand in the doorway.
My spies in New York have made contact with the Nosferatu. They speak of a monster beneath the city that is feeding and growing out of control.
The eldest.
Yes.
We've known about it for a while. I just didn't know what to do with it.
If the stories are to be believed, there is nothing that can be done with it.
We fought a piece of it. It was a lot. It was so strong.
In Transylvania, the eldest of the Zemisi, one who is now referred to as the founder, was defeated and had a stake driven through his heart by anarchs. Their leader, Lugoj, diablerized him, committed the most terrible sin to see it destroyed once and for all. And if these spies in New York are to be believed, Lambach Ruthven, a witness to this altercation, has been made aware by the eldest that it lives on. It is claimed by it that Lambach is to bear witness to something that is coming. We cannot prevent the fight that is about to happen in New York. My sire insists upon it. He insists that all who oppose this siege of New York City be eliminated.
So what are we going to do?
He looks like he wants to give an answer but can't. There are no contingency plans, Miles. There is nothing planned for what happens when the masquerade fails, because it cannot. We must find a way to preserve the masquerade, to sabotage this attack and make sure it doesn't happen. And even then, it will only buy us time.
The thing from New York will still rise. The only way to stop any of this is to stop that.
No, it cannot be stopped, Miles. Pay attention. It cannot die. It is beyond death. What happened in Sri Lanka happened because of a war that was taking place between the Ravnos and the Wankwe. The Ravnos, their war with the Wankwe in Sri Lanka. During it, there were mass embraces. Diableries. These mass embraces somehow triggered a psychic event that woke their eldest, that brought it to the surface. Our conflict with the Sabbat on the East Coast, it is drawing towards a similar event. If we were to buy time and de-escalate this conflict, and may grant us the opportunity to find some other way and prevent its rise.
I think Slane is also working on something.
He is.
I thought Slane was dead.
Nope.
I see.
She looks to Miles like, how much do I tell him?
I didn't know that he was presumed dead, but essentially he seems to be wanting to dismantle a demon for its power to obliterate this, or that's my understanding of it.
He looks at you with enough desperation in his eyes that he might accept it as an option. He checks a watch. I don't have much time.
I would suggest you talk to Xavier, because he has more insight on this thing and how to fight it, because that's the whole reason my clan left.
Xavier is watched by my sire. I don't know if I can get close.
You send an animal. I can send an animal.
He has a few minutes. What do you need to tell me?
Miles, they are going to destroy you. You are being propped up as a means of making it look like the blood of Hardestad is invested in what is happening on the East Coast. Your purpose does not exist past that. They know that they will lose New Haven. And if they can take New York with this opportunity, to my sire, it is a worthy trade.
Wynn is stock still.
All right. Can we keep New Haven? Will that stop this?
He reaches into his pocket, searching for something, and takes out what looks like a key with a tag on it that's just like a couple letters and numbers. I have made copies of as many files as I could. A half-century of stamping out Gehenna cults and acquiring the research that they have made on the end. I need to go. Forget about New Haven, forget about everything but that which is most dear to you, and hold on to it.
Of course, but can't let them all die.
Then do what you must to preserve them. He hands you this key. And one more thing.
What's that?
There is an item that he draws from Obfuscate. You recognize it to be a longsword. This is overdue. As a prince and a leader of the Ventru, you have earned your sword. I have brought it to the most powerful thaumaturges I know. Hopefully, it is deserving of its prince, and he offers you a sword.
I will take it with both hands.
It feels very light.
Is there anything I can do to help you?
I will make contact as soon as I can. I have a plane to catch.
Be safe.
You as well. And he slips out the door. Johnny, Neil, the two of them are brought into a room. There is a very large bed, and it is stocked with makeups, perfumes, beautiful art adorning the walls, a bureau with a massive mirror, its own bathroom, its own balcony. It is this gorgeous little space that has been provided to the two of you. The Josian escorts the two of you to your room. You recognize her as the woman who drove you here. She quickly excuses herself, and the two of you are left to your own devices.
Neil looks, the whole time they've been brought up here, looks just like deeply lost in thought and distracted. Not too dissimilar from the sort of almost fugue state that he was in after confessing that he was responsible for killing Marcos. But stops when he looks and just starts looking around the room, and then walks over to the mirror and puts a finger against it and goes, yeah, it is a neat trick to know if this is one-way glass or not. Is it?
It is a simple mirror.
Doesn't rule it out, but at least not mundane. It's a regular mirror. It doesn't mean nobody's watching you from the mirror, but it's not a...
The hell are you mumbling about over there?
Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Johnny's unwrapping another pack of Morleys.
Do you think it's okay to smoke in here?
I don't give a fuck.
Fair enough.
Do you see an ashtray?
I look around. Is there an ashtray?
You do not see an ashtray.
Now I hope he pays his staff well to mop, as Johnny lights a cigarette.
Neil just sort of sits on the edge of the bed, the one furthest from the door. Oh, what the hell, man? What's... Fuck.
That's pretty much what I've been thinking too.
I don't know what to... I don't know what to think about first. I worry about Miles, worry about Wynn, worry about Britta, who got taken away earlier.
I won't worry about the Sabbat.
Who are coming and literally on their way to kill all of us, and specifically Miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Worry about the star getting brighter.
Let's worry about the Camarilla too. They've sent all their goons here to fucking put us in line.
Yeah, exactly. Worried about
the werewolves.
Asthma. Yeah,
they're coming for us too.
Wait, why are they coming? Wait, why are the werewolves coming after us?
I killed some of them.
Fair enough. Okay. Worried about the Assamites. Still being, my sire is still out there.
Setzites.
Setzites hate Miles. They're going to be coming at us.
How about Marcus Vitalis? He's Sabbat or Camarilla? I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Keep on worrying, brother. What else we got to worry about?
I'm thinking it's a lot. There's the Zemitzi, the eldest, and everything that's going to happen with the dragon rising in New York. There's the
goddamn, dare I say it, antediluvian.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. That. Yeah. God. What else? Everything that happened with the all the stuff in the Shadowlands and all the dead being destroyed, and then I haven't forgotten about it, but like the whole thing that Wynn said with like ghosts getting thrown into their bodies, that's happening. Let's see.
And amongst all this, They're charging $6.25 for a pack of Morleys these days. Fucking unbelievable.
That's...
Johnny sits back and just takes a long drag.
God, I feel so stupid to say, are you doing okay, Johnny? But, like, I don't know what else to say. Are you doing okay, Johnny? Are you...
No.
Everybody's been checking in with Wynn and with Miles. I don't think anybody's checked in with you in a while.
Oh, we're done for, brother.
Yeah, I know, but, like... I mean, short term.
Short term? I'm pissed at the price of Morley's.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense. When things are really overwhelming, you focus on the small stuff. You hyper-focus on the small stuff until you can't see anything but the small stuff. That's not a you thing. That's a me thing. But I think it's a lot of people thing.
I don't know, man. It's the end of the world.
God, I hope it comes soon.
Yeah, it'd be a blessing, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, because then Wynn wouldn't have to kill any of us.
What?
Yeah, I don't know for a fact. These things are a little unreliable, but I'm pretty sure the Justicar is going to make Wynn kill one of us. And I don't think Wynn's going to have any choice in the matter. I could spin the roulette wheel on who it's going to be. I've got ideas, but I want to look into it first. Could be all of us, to be totally honest, but...
So Lucin's going to make the whole coterie just go away with Wynn?
I don't know about the whole coterie. It's at least somebody. Maybe all of us, I don't know. Probably not Britta. Depending on how much...
It's not a bad plan. She could do
some of the allies could win. Yeah, absolutely.
Take my throat by surprise, and then I don't know how the fucking rest of you would deal with Wynn.
If I had time to prepare, I could get
Maybe
away.
Miles could say something, but...
I could get away from Wynn in the short term. In the long term, I don't know. And honestly, if she's faster than me, no, I couldn't. So I don't know.
Is this how your head works all the time? You just sit here worrying about all this shit?
Yes.
It's fucking exhausting.
Yes. This is the reason why the prospect of the end isn't the thing that scares me the most.
What does scare you the most?
Being alone when it happens. It used to be Reese, like really not that long ago. But now it's being left behind.
I spent so long being distrustful of the Tremere. I'm sure this is probably partially blood bonds talking, but Reese doesn't bother me that much, and I don't have that bad of opinion of the Ira guy.
Yeah,
you talked to Ira at all?
No. I don't know, Johnny. I don't know what to do. Fester is still...
He's probably dead.
I know.
No offense.
And it's my fault.
It's all our fault.
It's mine.
The door clicks shut.
Johnny looks over at the door.
And having walked in completely unnoticed by the two of you, not until he shut the door and allowed you to be aware of his presence, do you notice William Biltmore? Hello.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm William
Biltmore.
Do you have another one of those? He just walks over to the bed and like lays down next to you. Do you have another one of those? He points to the cigarette.
Johnny kind of looks very uncomfortable. Not really. I don't know that Johnny knows who William Biltmore is.
Oh God, there's only one bed.
Never come to his fucking ears.
Not know who he is.
He kind of just and hands him a cigarette.
Thank you. I'm going to take your lighter for a moment. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. He lights a cigarette. Hello, gentlemen. I'm here for the call.
I'll take that back. He grabs the Zippo out of his hands.
Wait.
You put out a call, Neil. We're here for your call.
I didn't put a call out. When did I put a call out?
I'm sorry. Who is this guy?
Johnny, this is William.
Yeah, he said that.
An elder of my clan?
Operation Longbow, technically.
Yes, one of the heads of Operation Longbow.
A pleasure, Johnny.
Elder Biltmore, this is Johnny Saxon. You probably know that.
Oh, yes, he's quite famed.
Am I?
Yes, of course.
All right.
You're very neat.
Well, William Biltmore. Me and my friend Neil here, we're just sitting around talking about all the things that stress us out. What stresses you out, buddy?
He ponders for a moment. I never quite got to enjoy my career as a poet.
Jesus Christ.
It's very frustrating, and it has bothered me for a good long time.
I spent my whole fucking life avoiding poets, and now I'm saddled with one.
Lex,
He just looks at you and smiles.
I don't remember putting out a call.
Correct.
I also don't remember hearing a call.
That's also true.
Okay, great. Neil looks at him and just, are we waiting on anyone else?
Hopefully not long. The door clicks again.
This
And
is like
time,
The Hobbit.
having infiltrated this fortress, is Natasha Nix, primogen of the Malkavians and secret member of the Inconnu. And accompanying her is Edmund Dashwood, who is staring daggers at Johnny Saxon.
I just opened this pack. What the fuck? Do you all want cigarettes?
Dashwood walks right up to get his, feeling himself due one.
He just hands over the pack of Morleys.
I start splitting them up.
Primogen next. Keeper Dashwood. Nice to... Hello.
We're here for the meeting, Dashwood says.
Who put the call out?
Am I invited to this Malkavian meeting?
I don't remember putting out a call.
Why is Johnny here for this meeting? Nix is razor. It's fine. He can be here.
I don't remember putting out a call.
Fine. Biltmore says, we're all liars.
Okay, well, I guess since we're here, maybe, is there any, I don't even know what page to start on here.
I don't know. There are many astral projections here, so
I open my awareness.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of weird shit in this immediate vicinity. These are just the people that showed up physically.
So looking around and seeing all these psychic avatars and the people, are they all looking at me waiting?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Neil swallows down a panic attack and then goes, okay, well, since we're all here, I guess,
When Neil goes to speak, the door clicks again. Oop, sorry, Quentin King apologizes for his tardiness. And he goes and he just makes himself comfier on the bed, like on the other side of Johnny and...
So Johnny's
Biltmore.
the Oreo, the cream filling in this milk sandwich.
Quentin looks at you. Something, Gehenna, what's happening? What is this about?
oh,
Yeah, Neil. What is this all about?
okay. So, since we're here, and Neil looks back over at the door, like semi-expectantly.
Biltmore speaks up. What are you doing?
Okay, wait, what am I doing?
You should be conducting the meeting. You've made the call. We have listened. We have honored your request.
Making the
Or
call.
are we all liars?
Even make the...
He gives you the most subtle wink. Now conduct the meeting.
Fair enough. Okay, sorry, I'm not used to being the center of... So, to Prince King's point, yeah, it's Gehenna. I think
It's kind of a,
none of us are stupid enough not to look up.
Johnny kind of looks in amazement at all of the fucking gathered Malkavians and is like, what the... Okay.
The weirdest part is Johnny can only see like a third of the people in this room right now.
Still a lot of people.
True. It's just, to Johnny's assessment, it's just Nix, Quentin King, and Dashwood and Biltmore.
And right, so we've all seen some signs, larger or smaller, and in the short term, the Sabbat are coming to, kill everyone, and because they're trying to do things their way, and they're mistaken and misguided. And since it's the, end of the world, at least for Kindred, although probably for everybody, but we're not allowed to talk about how it's the end of the world. I guess that's our starting point. Is there anybody who's not on that starting point? Neil kind of looks around.
Everyone kind of nods quietly, and once William has assessed that everyone's on the same page, he just looks at you and gives a slight thumbs up.
Wait, that's it? We're not going to address that you're the goddamn poster boy for Longbow and you're the bootlicker for Pendragon? He motions to Quinn King.
Well, there's Longbow.
Quinn King speaks up. Actually, I thought we were just going to skip it and move on to the point.
Great. I'm glad we can get to business. He motions back to Neil.
Okay. So the Sabbat are coming up the East Coast, and they're coming to, they're already in motion. I don't know how many of us saw that, but they're preparing and they're marching now to come up here probably within the next few days. And to march on the city of New Haven, and we bottle light, whatever. The more important point, I think, is how many of us, and Neil kind of like puts his hand up, how many of us are aware, have seen what happens when everybody attacks New York? What the thing that
none of them raise their hands.
No,
William kind of raises an eyebrow. I assume some sort of violence.
Nobody else has seen the dragon rise.
Before, this is all kind of amusing to them, but the amusement fades as they wait for you to go on.
When everyone marches on New York, some of us included, and fight the Sabbat in their home, and the Vikos, I think, is there, and Polonia, and some other Lasombra, I don't remember his name, and is fighting, and Pendragon is all there. The streets ripple, and the thing under New York, the eldest, not the shard, but the eldest, rises. No one else, I'm the only one who saw that?
Nick speaks up. I have seen something that might pertain to this, but it is perhaps from a different angle, another piece of the puzzle.
Oh, thank God.
Perhaps we have all seen a future, but from different seats, different positions, different aspects. Perhaps you can explain yours with a bit more detail.
I've been thinking about it a lot, both through the visions and the thoughts that consume all of us, and then with some of my own ties to the heavens, and their mastery, and the herald of the Assamites has risen. I saw it happen, and I've been thinking about it, and the only reason that it would rise now is because it claims to be the herald of Hakim, the children of Hakim, right? The
Nix and Biltmore look towards a corner of the room where there is no one, and then back to you.
Even with Auspex 5, there's nobody there?
Nope.
Cool. The only thing that I can think of, right, is the herald of Hakim, right? And why would the herald arrive? To portend someone else's arrival. That's what a herald does. We've seen the shard growing of the eldest in New Haven and all the things that happen there. The Week of Nightmares, we all, when we were all, presumably most of us, when the things were happening, when our minds were gone, when we were seeing things, the rise, I don't know, he raised his hand again, how many of us saw what happens when the antediluvian fell in Sri Lanka?
Everyone raises their hand at that one.
Except for Johnny. He kind of looks around and in perplexment as he's just smoking his Morley.
I saw a vision of what was to come, could be to come. And he kind of shrugs in that way that, presumably everybody else kind of gets, of this shit's not precise, I don't know. We were in New York. We were fighting a decisive battle, a final stand, the Camarilla versus the Sabbat. And then the streets began to split open, and the dragon rises. There's something underneath New York City connected to the Xantosa. It's infecting people. Johnny here actually said he saw something that came back on the train, someone who was infected. Right? From New York?
Yeah, I mean, I've stomped a lot of weird shit into the ground before.
Yeah, but this one was different.
Yeah.
And it came out of New York.
No, I had to burn that thing.
And there's a shard of it here. Well, not here. We're in Hartford, in New Haven. And
it definitely reminded me of the same shit that was in the Chantry.
It's corrupted. You said, yes, during the week of nightmares in the Chantry, exploded and the flesh called to itself, right? And there were plans. Somebody had plans. And Neil screws up his face like he can't quite remember some of the details. Somebody had plans to shunt this thing into the spirit realm or the Shadowlands or something. But what they don't know is that it's also, according to Wynn, it's corrupting the Shadowlands too. It's burning every layer of reality that we can see. So just kicking it off into another realm isn't going to help any either. It's not going to solve the problem. How do you solve the problem? I don't know, but it's coming. And how many of them are coming? One already came and died, presumably. We all saw that. And another one, Herald, arrived, and another one is rising, and I saw it rise. And where does it stop? And while we're all running around playing the games and participating in the jihad, for me, it feels like the jihad is coming to a close. But personally, I don't think it's going to matter anymore. And where do we go from here? I don't know. I'm just me. But I just, since we're all here talking about it, I guess it's nice, at least from where I'm sitting, to know that other people can at least see some of it too.
William Biltmore speaks up. For some time now, I have been delving into a conspiracy. It is one that is conducted by its leader, Ambrogino Giovanni, and it involves occultists across multiple sector lines. Ambrogino, the Tremere, some of the more elite members of kindred society seek to escape the jihad.
The ritual of the red sign.
Yes. They are drawing closer. I am in possession of access to one of the tomes that they seek so that they might complete their ritual. They know that something terrible has already begun. I have made contact with one of the most knowledgeable kindred in the world regarding what is happening. And I believe that if there is anyone that can convince Jan Peterson of the truth, it is them. Unfortunately, this entity has made complicated political choices for the past 1,000 years. And they are at odds, we shall say, with the Camaria's status quo. I believe that as these kindred flee by way of the red sign, as the conflicts on both coasts of the United States reach the point of no return, our masquerade will soon fail us. And there is no Camarilla without the masquerade. We must look to the future. And respectfully, he turns to Johnny. There is only one clan willing to do that.
Neil actually nods.
We must make arrangements for Jan Peterson and the Angel of Cain to meet. Sabat Lord Johnny.
3 successes.
Oh, everyone knows who the Angel of Cain is. But among the Camarilla, they don't quite go by that glorious title. The Camarilla simply refers to them by their chosen name, Sasha Vikos.
Wait, I'm sorry. Back it up. You want Jan Peterzoon to meet Sasha Vikos?
Neil looks over like, wait, what the fuck?
Dashwood is looking at Biltmore like, what is the plan? What are you doing here? William Biltmore ashes his cigarette, like just right on the rug. Yes. That would be very astute of you.
Well, what's that going to accomplish?
They need to have met, and they need to know that one another exists. They need to be in the forefront of one another's minds. Because when events push them, they must be pushed towards each other.
They're both there in New York. When I saw them, anyways. Or I think so. I don't know if I was actually seeing through the Vikos, but it seemed like it. That was my takeaway. That was my... I may have jumping to conclusions. But...
Well, in this moment, there are other members of the clan who are aware of what it is you speak of, Neil. But none of us, and I mean none of us, have quite the insight you do on this matter at this moment. So, I ask of you, what is the one thing that the children of Markov can do to salvage the situation? Ask it, and we will make every effort to make it reality. And I think you're aware of how malleable reality can be. The door clicks shut as Jan Peterzoon slips off into the night.
Wynn slips back into the bathroom.
You can't just go into the bathroom again.
I can, because you can't make eye contact with me if I'm in the bathroom.
What is this going to help?
Miles, what is the point?
Well,
The end goal
which end goal?
of me coming out of this bathroom and you took off your jacket. You're planning to do something.
Yes.
So talk to me first.
I probably can't based on what's going on with you.
Not inaccurate.
So I'm going to need you to come out here and let me try. And if that fails, we will try something else.
And if you fuck around with this, then more and more of us get dragged in.
We're all dragged in. This gives us options.
Miles, I am being punished. You are being punished. I would rather it stayed with just the two of us.
I'm pretty sure that's a punishment to all of us. And I don't necessarily know... They don't necessarily think they are punishing you. Though I don't know what your first job is.
Wynn kind of lets her head bonk back against the wall.
Are you just going to look at what they did? What are you doing?
I can't really tell you.
If someone else in our family is hurt because of this, that's on you.
All right.
And she comes out of the bathroom.
He's looking at her.
She is kind of purposefully not making eye contact yet.
I don't even know if I can.
I don't even know what you're doing.
I know. But you are going to have to listen to me. And you're going to have to meet my eyes. Well, you don't have to, but it does make it easier.
When he says that, Wynn's stress instinct, which is becoming more and more apparent as to why she no longer has hair on the sides of her head, is to grip and squeeze at the sides of her head and just pull her hair.
Miles looks on as undecided. This is an interesting predicament. And he has ways to deal with it. But he doesn't know how it's going to go. Alright, Wynn. I'm going to pass on this for now. But I haven't stopped. And I have some thoughts, but nothing I can do here.
She closes her eyes and nods.
But it will be soon.
Miles, I don't even know what I can say to you.
I know. I've been there.
Wynn just kind of starts taking off her shirt and is in her tank top, takes off her pants and crawls into her side of the bed.
Miles has a flat look like, okay, vampires. Okay.
And she crawls up and like cocoons herself in blankets, like she would so much rather be buried in dirt right now. Like just the earth reassuring her that everything would be okay.
He's going to take the new sword, lay down flat in the bed, and hold it over his chest. While he waits for the sun to take over.
Did you bring the sword into bed?
Yeah, I don't want to take it. There's ghouls all over this place.
Weirdo.
Says you.
That's how I know.
Great.
Tim, as the day takes you, you feel a shifting of the blade as pieces of the metal drive itself into your flesh and drink from you. Your sword will drink and store 3 traits of blood and become 1 step bloodbound to you.
Neil freezes for a minute, sort of under the weight of everything that's being talked about and everything that's being offered, just absolutely freezes up. And he starts mumbling to himself for a second in the way that he does sometimes when he's just trying to work something out in his head. Saying like, okay, I need to think. I need time to think. It's the ritual of the red sign. I mean, is that even possible? Is it, can that even work? He's like looking over at Biltmore and Nyx in particular.
Nyx actually speaks up within, according to ancient texts, into the final nights, as the world takes its steps towards the rise of the last city. It is said that the power of Cain's curse will wane. I believe they mean to use this ritual once it no longer has the power it once held. And then perhaps nearly anything is possible.
What even is the ritual? Like, I mean, Slain is doing things with demons and there's other realms and what, like...
It is a violation of the will of the Almighty. It is the act of throwing off the curse of Cain, to take one who is kindred and restore their mortality, to be human.
Raises even more questions. Presumably this isn't for everyone. This would be a few.
A few.
And, I mean, who am I to judge? Who are any of us to judge? But do they even deserve that? Even if there is a way out, do any of us even deserve that? I don't...
Nyx says to you, it is my place to watch, to observe and monitor. It is not my place to interfere. I cannot say whether or not one deserves it or not.
I don't... Okay. But what we're talking about here, what we're proposing here, is undermining all of that, stopping it. Finding the parts, making sure it doesn't happen. Or at least not the way they want it to. Not to let the Giovanni out, not to let the Tremere out, not to... Everybody goes down with the ship.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Hey.
So this ritual of the red sign is going to take away the curse of vampirism and make somebody mortal again?
Yes.
That's the goal.
And the Giovanni want to do this?
And the Tremere and...
For what end? So that they can die amidst a vampire civil war?
See, that's what I'm saying.
The Giovanni and Tremere involved were not strictly human, as we understand the concept before their embrace. They were enlightened or awakened avatars. Some of them believe that by becoming mortal again, they can reattain the heights of the magic they once wielded.
It seems so short-sighted, so stupid. Like, Maybe even if they could, it's not just us. It's not just Gehenna. It's everyone. The lands of the dead are being destroyed. If the dragon rises in the city, okay, great, you got made mortal, and now you're all dying. To Johnny's point, in the middle of a civil war around here, but globally, things are bad. Human beings can see the red star in the sky. Escaping one apocalypse by jumping into another one doesn't... It's stupid. It doesn't... But... So, we need to think about what to do. You're right, Camarilla is going away. If the masquerade goes, Camarilla's gone. And if this thing rises in New York, if the antediluvians rise, masquerade's going away. It's already going away. It's already feels weaker than it's been in my lifetime, short as it is. But there's a roadmap. There's a roadmap for what happens for Kindred outside the Camarilla, at least a little bit. Xavier and the Gangrel did the entire thing.
This ritual of the red sign, can that be applied to any kindred?
William speaks up. I don't know if they even know the answer to that question just yet.
Because to hell with undoing the curse on any of us. What if we undo the curse on the fucking eldest?
Neil frowns at that, like that had not actually occurred to him.
If Zemitzi stops being a vampire, what then?
A good question. But what even is the ritual? Like, how do we do it? I don't...
You're the magic fucks.
No.
Kind of like looks around the room.
No, that's not... Well,
Wilmore shrugs. I am no magician.
All right. Wizard, then. I don't care what word you use.
No, that's... Neil looks around at everybody. Kind of stops at Nick's, like, maybe, but...
No, we don't do that.
Just... Johnny, that's... Okay. All right. So... There are some people who maybe would deserve it, but that goes back to my original point. What do we need to either find out how to supersede it, or take it, or stop it? How do we...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Look, I'm sure all of us in one degree or another would love to be human again. I don't know if any of us deserve that. No. I don't know if it's possible. But if this ritual can do something like that, can we undo an antediluvian?
I don't know. But we'd have to find out. And the person who was central to finding a lot of this out was Wynn.
All right, well, isn't this crew asking you if they can do something to find out for you? Or?
So, it's a little bit more than that. Wynn was the one who was reached out to by the Giovanni to do things, to work. There are... I don't know if she knows anybody in the Tremere who was doing anything like this, or was close to anybody there. She's the one who was looking for the books, one of which Elder Biltmore has, apparently, from Amaya, is the one from...
He gives a nod.
Yeah. There's a reason that Slane and everyone approached Wynn. As far as all this is concerned, I don't know why, and I don't know how. I can't always put the pieces together, but sometimes I have a box full of pieces. And... But I... Trying to escape, I don't know. But I know what I want. I know what I want us to try and do, if we can leverage it, if we can make it work, if we can make it happen. Because what we actually need, if we need Peter Zune and Vikos to talk to each other, if we need everybody to look at a larger picture rather than their own jihad-serving self-interests, if I can feel myself getting more detached all the time. I don't feel like myself, and tomorrow night maybe I'll feel less and less until I don't care and I'm just looking for my own way out, and fuck the rest of everybody too. But for now, I'm trying to look for the future. The person who put me back on the right path, and the person who knows more about things and is the central to all of this is Wynn. And I don't know if we as a clan work to, I don't know, give her the tools required to figure things out, to enact things, but right now she's a tool herself. She's soon to be a permanent tool of Lucinda. And even before that, she was manipulated, and the Giovanni or whoever were holding things that she needed and wanted, like Joey, over her head. And what I really think we need to do is just have Wynn with us. with her strings cut. All of them. So that she can do what she needs to do without having to worry about Joey, without having to worry about, we can take care of ourselves without being a puppet of a Justicar who's not going to let her go. Because if you're right, we do need to know more about this than the rest of, we're tied into it in ways that I really, really wish we weren't. But for now, all I've wanted the whole time, if it's the end of the world, is to die or to face it with everybody else. And I don't want her going away, and I don't want you going away. And I can already feel myself slipping away. I don't know. I don't have any more coherent thoughts than any of that.
It is answer enough, William says. He stands up. He heads for the door and opens it. And with a tilt of a head, he gestures to the other Malkavians. That will do.
I don't know how to end one of these. Thank you all for coming.
I kind of give you like a little awkward nod, and they head out. They shut the door, and it is dead fucking quiet in the room.
Neil looks around, sees if like any astral projections are lingering.
It's just you and Johnny.
Being honest, Neil always looks like he's about to cry or on the verge of a panic attack, but like if he needed to breathe, he would be hyperventilating right now. And he walks over to the pillow on the far front side from the door, the one near the bed, and just uses a fang and rips it open and starts pulling out feathers. And it's like, Johnny, do you have your lighter? Do you have...
Johnny holds the Zippo out in a hand.
There's no ashtray or anything. Jesus, I need... And he goes over to like a vase or something, dumps fucking Roman Pendragon's flowers out, puts the feathers in there. So can you burn these? Can you... I'm worried I'm gonna freak out. And can you burn all this, please?
Johnny, who's kind of just sitting on the couch, still looking quizzically at the room that was previously full of Malkavians, and kind of now unsure about what the hell's going on with all of these feathers and this vase, the flowers on the floor, stands up, walks over, looks down at the feathers in the vase.
It doesn't matter. I just need the ashes. But I'm not in a great mindset right now to face a pot full of fire.
Johnny will light some of the feathers on fire and drop them into the vase.
Still, like, not really able to get a hold of himself 100%. Neil starts to try and, like, quiet his mind down a little bit after all of that. Starts going through the motions of ritually preparing the room like a paranoid Malkavian, so that if anybody tries to get him while he's sleeping, he will wake with evening's freshness.
Okay.
And looks over at Johnny and goes, I think, do you want to take the bed, or do you want me to...
What the hell was all this?
Oh, we're going to talk about it now. I don't know. I didn't call them. Biltmore did. But he couldn't admit that he did. So he said I did it. Because I'm a known and...
Is that what passes for your clan as a rave?
They're impromptu. You feel the pull. Sometimes you hear it in the radio, see it on TV. Sometimes if an elder's around, they just put out a call and everyone is expected to show up.
Just awkwardly find a room and jabber at each other for 20 minutes?
Not always. Sometimes we pretend to do what the other clans do. Did one on a rooftop once.
Fair enough. You think this is actually going to help anything?
I don't know. I think there are people who believe, at least, that the ritual of the red sign could work. Used against an antediluvian, I don't know what the fuck that would do.
What strings are you worried about on Wynn?
The Justicar is blood bonding her. Completely. Wynn will not be Wynn within 2 nights. She'll be an Archon. And even though she'll still be Wynn, from now until the end of Gehenna, we won't be able to talk freely around her. We'll never be able to trust her the same way. I will, but we won't be able to, not publicly, not like that. She's already gotten in her head. It's going to make her kill one of us. Those are a lot of strings. But the other ones...
Back that up. She's going to what?
Yeah. Lucinda's making her kill one of us.
How do you know that?
I know. I'd love to be more specific, but this is good.
No, it's good enough for me.
I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know how or why. I could put a guess out for why she would make it any one of us, and then we could do a tier list. But like...
Probably Miles.
He's number one.
Venture are, generally speaking, all the Venture care about.
Yeah.
I don't think they go through this much plot to kill any of the rest of us.
No, I think they had opportunity to easily kill the rest of us, and they just didn't. But Miles...
And here I thought Miles was just getting off with a slap on the wrist. Fucking stupid of me.
Privilege is bought on the bodies of people who protect you. But when people stop protecting you...
Alright. Let me help you out with the rest of this. What else can I do so you can perform your ritual?
This is it.
It's
pretty simple. I just don't have any of my things on me the way that I would want, so I had to make do. I guess I owe Prince Pendragon a pillow.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Britta, you are brought to your room much earlier than the other kindred of your coterie. When you arrive to the room, you recognize it immediately. It was the same one you were held in when you were held captive by the Prince of Hartford. Maria escorts you in, and there is a dress that waits for you. The large tub that's in the bathroom is already running, waiting for you. And she turns to you and says, "Remove your garments. Take a bath. Once you're ready, I'll put you in the dress, arrange your makeup, and ensure that you are properly prepared to meet with His Grace. He has indicated there is some unfinished conversation between you two," she says, as derisively as possible.
Walking back into this room, there's this shudder as the feeling of what it felt like to come here before falls over Britta. For a moment, that's all she feels, and it makes her feel small and out of control. But then the present catches up, and she hears Maria. She clearly understands the tone. She knows what Maria would want to do, but she just chooses to nod, walk into the bathroom, and close the door.
As you make your way to the bathroom, the door to your room opens and shuts again with a click as Roman Pendragon enters.
Britta looks over her shoulder, feeling a little confused by that. She pauses by the bathroom door, looking between the two.
"Maria," he says, and she looks up at him quick and hopeful, and he gestures out the door. "Go." She looks back at you once, the resentment you've seen in her eyes more crystal clear than ever before. But she obeys her dominor's will, and she leaves.
Clear sympathy in Britta's eyes that she doesn't really let come across her expression the same until Maria's back is turned and she's leaving. Questions. This doesn't line up with the plan as presented. The curiosity that's visible in Britta shows further as she looks over to Pendragon, taking a few steps closer.
"I have just finished something of a negotiation with the Ventru Justicar. We have come to an understanding regarding yourself and your coterie. She has asked that I stand aside should she need to address past instances of misbehavior in exchange for me standing aside while she issues her corrective measures. I have arranged for your exemption. He pauses a moment. Do not return to New Haven. Let your coterie defend the city without you.
I can't do that. I can't abandon them. I won't.
Abandon them. I will send 10 kindred more experienced than you in your place, if you're simply worried about them getting the help that they need. But New Haven is a grave, and it will bury everyone who goes to it.
If New Haven's a grave, then I can't let them go alone.
There's time to discuss it. I want you to understand that what was agreed upon is a gift to you. A chance to create an unlife for yourself. But that gift doesn't mean anything if you go off to New Haven and die.
Thank you for trying to protect me. I don't see a version of this where I don't stay with my family, especially if I know that they're going to danger. You've called me a soldier in the past. For them, I would fight.
And if it becomes the preference of your prince that you stay with me?
Britta looks confused. She's assessing Pendragon for whether that seems like legitimate possibility. I don't suppose there's any, hint in his demeanor about that.
Tell me what you try.
I'd like to roll empathy, villains.
Sure, go for it.
Difficulty?
8.
6 successes?
With 6 successes, he is pretty willing to force the venture to capitulate here, and thinks he can. And the thing that stands out to you the most is that his thumb kind of traces along his index and middle finger, and you notice very subtly hints of ash and blood under his fingernails. He killed someone tonight. He killed someone 10 minutes ago, and he did it as a favor to the Ventru.
The shock of that revelation, Britta's not able to hide that, and she finds herself slowly reaching out to take hold of his wrists and look at the ash under his nails.
He lets you. You kind of take this hand. It's not soft like what you would expect from someone who was once a noble. There's definitely calluses, cracks to the cuticles of his nails. He's definitely someone who died in the field when he was embraced. And he seems to recognize that you are taking his hand by the wrist because you can see that he's probably killed someone not 10 minutes ago.
It's that feeling like you're holding a breath. She knows she isn't, but there's that tension. And her mind is racing.
It is perhaps not the kindness that you want, but it is a gesture for your sake, and one that I do believe has earned you your freedom. Your friends. Wynn is gone, soon to be a blank slate in service to the Ventru. Miles and Johnny are dust. Kindred who fought and died needlessly on a battlefield that did not need to happen, but they are as good as gone. And Neil never mattered at all. So why cling on to them? They couldn't free you. I did.
Britta swallows down emotion, but it's showing in her eyes as she looks up at him. And she steps closer, pulling his hand to her, to lay it so that it would fall on atop of her heart, and she looks at him and says, "They matter to me. They do. And none of them are gone until until they're gone. And I'm not going to give up on them, so please don't. I don't give up on people that easily.
He looks frustrated. You will not have this opportunity again. Surely you know that.
I was given a blank slate once. Not the way I wanted. At least, the version of me that... the memories that I have. And... ever since, I've wanted to get back what I don't even remember. And every discovery I've made, it's hurt, and often put me in more trouble. But they were there with it. But they were there with me through it all. They have protected me. You've done something to protect me and to give me another chance, and thank you. There's fear when she says that, but it's not insincere. There's a battle, and she definitely wants to ask who was it. She definitely wants to push back, but there's also that sensation of it has happened and she knows why. And that is a strange battle of different parts of her. Please don't make Miles face all of that alone. I want to be there with my coterie if they have to be there.
You may not get everything you want, but I will make sure he does not face the Sabbat alone. Hardestad agreed to my wishes. The Camaria's restrictions on the Amaranth are lifted within the city of New York. Miles will have everything he wanted. The Sabbat will lose. But you don't have to be there when it happens. You don't have to be in New Haven. Don't do this.
You agreed to fight too, you know. Your armies. To put your resources at risk.
Yes, I did.
I can't leave them to die, not if there's anything I could have done about it.
But there is not.
But
My sire will find you. She will destroy you, and she will use your ashes to demoralize everyone who cares for you. Do not go. Please. He looks like really torn, saying that it is not a word he's used to.
Britta briefly does not understand English because that's not... It doesn't sound like it could possibly be a word used in the circumstance, so like it's that blindness to meaning where she's trying to sort out what that arrangement of letters could be. Once she processes, she seems frozen for a few moments. Britta takes his hand, the same hand that she's brought close to herself. She brings it up to her jaw, right near her neck, so that he could do whatever he wanted to do, as she gives her rejection, and she says, I need to be there for my coterie. I don't know if, with everything that's happening, that there is anywhere that's safe. And it's strange that after everything, I get to feel a little break, to be safe for a little while. I want to spend that time with you. Before it all gets to danger again.
Her disobedience sparks this, like, slight look of fury in those cold blue eyes that he has. And she can feel his fingers instinctively start to tighten around her neck. But before he reaches the point where he's really about to hurt her out of his anger, he tempers it. And he says, on every occasion that our paths have crossed, politics, war, and secrets have interrupted us. What if just this once we don't let them?
I think I'd really like that.
With this kind of cool, confident motion, he guides Britta into the room that is just starting to have water overflow the tub, and he shuts the door behind them.
Path of Night is a Vampire the Masquerade podcast set in the world of darkness. Britta Ashcroft the Toreador was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Johnny Saxon the Bruja was played by Garrett Gabbey. Miles Davenport the Venture was played by Tim Davis. Neil Foster the Malkavian was played by Rob Muirhead. Wynn Cabot the Gangrel was played by Erika Webb. Your storyteller was Lex Lopez. Recording by Rebecca Steigelfest. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The music used in this episode was composed for Path of Night by Brian Metolious. Find him online at brianmetolious.com. Path of Night uses the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade with a few limited house rules. Vampire the Masquerade and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. We can be found on YouTube at youtube.com/@pathofnight. You can help support the show on coffee.com/pathofnight. Find us on twitter.com/pathofnightpod, on facebook.com/pathofnightpodcasts, or email us at pathofnightpodcasts@gmail.com. See you next time, Kindred.
So, actually, would I even call it the Week of Nightmares? Probably not.
Today you coined it.
Okay.
Boom! You coined the Week of Nightmares, bro.
What a fucking flex.